In this video, we are going to look at the Montessori elementary curriculum. It is important to begin with saying that there is no set Montessori curriculum that Dr. Montessori compiled and formalized for Montessori schools to use. Dr. Montessori intended for the curriculum to be organic, following the child's individual needs under the care of a very observant teacher. Traditionally, a scope and sequence of the materials was provided during Montessori teacher training. In many cases, the Montessori teachers used this scope and sequence as their curriculum and guide for the classroom. Dr. Montessori developed her method over a period of 45 years, and during this time, she was constantly improving and changing her method and materials according to what she observed in the child. This is why sometimes we will see that in some of her earlier books, she may have written something in a particular way and written a particular sequence of materials, and then later on revisited this in one of her later writings and modified it according to what she saw of the child as she studied them further and deeper. There is truly so much diversity in what you will find from one Montessori school to another, and it is important to realize that there is not one single authentic Montessori curriculum, but a variety, each unique in its own right and designed to meet the needs of the children in each setting. It is, however, extremely important for Montessori educators to actually take the time to develop a specific curriculum that they will follow, and this curriculum should be based on the children that they're going to be working with and relative to the culture that they are in. The curriculum should be detailed yet flexible. In this video, I aim to set out the basic principles behind the Montessori curriculum so that this can help you in deciding how best you can plan and provide the materials that we're going to cover in the course to the children that you are educating. At the very core of the Montessori elementary curriculum is cosmic education. This is the backbone of the entire Montessori method. All curriculum areas, lessons, and materials spring out from this cosmic plan. This chart demonstrates the idea of cosmic education beautifully. We will look at cosmic education in more detail later on in the course. This chart was developed by Gazzini and Miller to materialize the systems of the elementary program. It demonstrates the integrated elementary studies of life systems as a representative plan, visually symbolizing all at once organisms, social systems, ecosystems, as well as the flow of evolution and civilization emerging from the cosmic fables about the origin of life. With a quick glance, you can see that all areas of a curriculum that you would see in a traditional school are interconnected and linked to this idea of cosmic education. The Montessori curriculum is not worked through in a fixed linear sequence as we see in traditional schools. Instead, the Montessori scope and sequence is an integrated spiral curriculum. The child progresses at their own pace. Wherever possible, connections are made between subjects, and one lesson will lead to another. In a Montessori classroom, subject matters are not separated into curriculum areas. For example, we do not separate that this is language and then this is geography or this is science. Everything is interconnected and interrelated. The subjects weave in and out of each other. This integrated curriculum chart by Tim Seldin shows us how all curriculum areas are integrated to each other. When a child learns something in one area, connections are constantly made in other areas. This helps the child to see knowledge as a whole, as a unity. The integration guides the child to see the bigger picture and how each piece forms part of the whole. If you observe in a Montessori classroom, you'll see many beautiful examples of this integration. For example, a child may be studying about triangles in the area of geometry. This will be connected to history and geography by looking at how ancient Egyptians measured land. Language would also be integrated into this by bringing in the connection to the Greek and Latin origins of the words. The list of possible connections is endless. In addition to the integration, the Montessori curriculum is also a spiral, so that the child is constantly revisiting previous topics each time at a much deeper level. The term spiral curriculum was coined by Berner. He explains, a curriculum as it develops should revisit the basic ideas repeatedly, building upon them until the student has grasped the full formal apparatus that goes with them. The design of the spiral curriculum provides a scaffolding for the child, giving the much needed initial support that is required so that the child can move from one level of difficulty to another. The spiral curriculum ensures that the child is always revisiting topics again and again, each time at a deeper and higher level. Each time the encounter is increased in complexity and different in kind. The lessons lead from one stage to another. This creates a vertical integration, building a ladder from the beginning of the Montessori program all the way till the end. As mentioned earlier in this lecture, the backbone of the Montessori elementary curriculum is cosmic education. Cosmic education provides us with 5 great themes for the elementary program, and these are delivered through our great lessons and are interconnected to all other areas of the curriculum. By looking at this chart, we can see how each of these 5 great lessons connects to the various areas of the curriculum. This is just another way to display what we saw in the first cosmic chart that I showed you earlier. We will look at the great lessons in more detail in the cosmic education course. The first of the 5 great themes is the universe and its history. We begin this by telling the story of the creation of the universe, and this is integrated into physics, chemistry, zoology, geography, earth science, astronomy, and many other areas. We then go on to the great theme of life and living things, and we tell the story of how living creatures came to the earth. This integrates to botany, zoology, biology, and anatomy. Next, we tell the story of humans. This is linked to the great theme of humanity, its history, and its accomplishments. This is where we will begin to look at ancient civilizations, human history, fundamental needs, and so on. The fourth great theme is human communication, and this integrates into speaking, writing, reading, grammar, literature, and other languages. And the fifth theme is the world of mathematics, which goes into organizing, counting, arithmetic, geometry, algebra, graphing, and many other areas. It is important that the curriculum is designed to include everything that the child will need to support their development. So the core subjects that you must ensure are included are arithmetic, biology and science, geography, geometry, history, language arts, and these will be supported by other subjects such as art, music, PE, and practical life. These are the main curriculum areas of a Montessori elementary classroom. We will go through each one of these areas in great detail throughout the course, and we will discuss the rationale behind each area and how they are interrelated and interconnected to each other. Another principle of the Montessori curriculum is that we always start from the whole and work towards the parts. Usually, in any curriculum area, we would begin with a great lesson which gives the overview of this area of the curriculum, and then we would break it down into parts so that the child can examine each of the small parts, but as part of a whole. The elementary integration of everything is found in a deductive-inductive cycle, going from the whole to the detail, and from the detail to the whole, evoking the highest functioning of the child's imagination. We can see here in this chart that we would begin the language curriculum with the story of writing. This would then be broken down into the language arts, foreign languages, the history of languages. The language arts curriculum would then be further broken down into grammar, mechanisms of writing, handwriting, reading and spelling, and so on. And then if you look at grammar, it would be broken down into the parts of speech, reading analysis, detailed study of grammar, and those would be further broken down into their own details. So as we design a curriculum for a Montessori classroom, we need to keep this idea in mind, starting from the whole, working towards the details, and working from the details towards the whole. This together will provide the child with a holistic view of the knowledge of the universe that they are exploring. The Montessori elementary curriculum is broken down into 2 parts, the lower elementary from 6 to 9 and the upper elementary from 9 to 12. The lower elementary curriculum is more static, whereas the upper elementary curriculum is dynamic. Usually the lessons that we give to lower elementary students are more static. We are teaching topics that are fixed, such as vocabulary or countries, things that cannot be changed. We want the children to understand things as they are. This helps the child to build a really strong foundation in the lower elementary stage, upon which they're going to explore further when they move to upper elementary. As the child solidifies their understanding of the world, they will seek more challenging ways in which they can explore. In the upper elementary, we provide lessons that are more dynamic. These are concerned with studying changes and the process of evolution and development. This helps the child to understand how things change over time. This lecture has provided you with a quick overview of the Montessori elementary curriculum and the principles behind it. We will look at each area in more detail and discuss the rationale behind each curriculum as we go through the different subject areas in the course.